right into our next question. How important it is as parents to lead by example?
Well, to us, that was a pretty obvious question.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't lead by example, how are we going to expect our children to grow up with the values that we hope that they will grow up with? Mm-hmm. Lisa, you had something you wanted to say on that?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you did.
You threw me off.
I
okay.
put you on the spot.
I mean, obviously, it's almost a no-brainer question.
It is.
However, we all know, as parents, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're not leading by example, and sometimes we fall into a rut where we stop. And, certain things, yes, but I can give you a perfect example, is I've always, both my wife and I shouldn't say both my wife and I have always said to our children, undo your shoes, open them up, put your feet in. Don't stick your feet in and wiggle your ankle around and try and get it in the shoe. And we would be all over them every time they put their shoes on, because it's one of these zoop, zoop, and they want to go. No. Take the two, if you're, that 2 seconds or 5, 10, 15 seconds is going to take you to put your shoes on properly. If that makes a difference between you arriving somewhere and not arriving there, it's not your shoes that have made you late. You just haven't been prepared for what you need to do. So we've always been all over them. And one day we were walking out of the house, and I put my shoes down, and I put my foot in, and I started wiggling my ankle around, right? And my son looks at me and he goes, "Dad?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You tell us not to do that." And I said, the first thing out of my mouth was, "Yeah, but Brendan, these shoes are like 6 years old." I said, "You guys don't have running shoes that are 6 years old, because you grow out of them every 6 months, because, obviously." I said, "So, they're 6 years old." And God bless my son. He looks at me and goes, "Dad," he goes, "do they still work?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Do they have holes in them?" I said, "No." He goes, "Then they're still good shoes, aren't they, regardless of how long you've had them?" And I kind of stopped and I said, you know what? This is a life lesson for me, because my son is looking at it from a completely different angle. I'm looking at it. These are my slip-on shoes that my giddy up and go shoes, right? We're gone. And he's looking at it saying, no, hold on. Like, you tell us we should do it, then you should do it. And we do the majority of the time. But for all the parents watching this, how many times do we not do it? Do we tell them to do something and we do the exact opposite? And brings me to a statement that Brian Biro says a lot in his seminars. And he says, "What you do screams so loud, I can't hear a word you're saying." Mm-hmm. And how true is that for us as parents, but for leading by example?
Yes, it's important to be in harmony with what you say and what you do. They mm-hmm. must be in harmony, because children will pick up on that. Mm-hmm. And consistency is important.
In our family, it was seatbelts in the car. We wouldn't move unless the seatbelts were on. But I often would start the car and back up and then put my seatbelt mm-hmm. on. And our daughters would pick up on that and, "Dad, seatbelt."
Yep. We've all been there when you get in the car and you go to leave and your seatbelt's not on and theirs is. Yeah.
But the important point is that children watch, because that's how they learn. And the yes. environment they, especially in the early years, is the environment we create for them. So if we create an environment where we say something and do the opposite, or we tell them that they have to do this and then we do the opposite, what are we telling them? It's important, as Lisa says, that we be consistent with what we say and what we do, because that's confusing for children. And it also
you're absolutely right.
leads to all sorts of issues later on in the teen years, when they are challenging every single thing that you say and do.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's hugely important. It's, we've always said, with the belief my whole life that you can't, if you are a chain smoker, you can't get angry at your children if they start smoking, because that's all they've seen, that's all they've known.
And if you tell little lies, then you can't. You're setting up the example for them that it's okay for them to be dishonest as well.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, big takeaway is parents, it's lead by example, obviously, but also these little things that we overlook on our daily lives that are really the big key factors to our children for them to go, you're right. Good work ethic, we try and show our children all of it. And even, with our businesses, there's some weekends where I hardly come out of the office. And this is a weekend time. And, at night when we sit down to watch a movie, we'll make sure to say to our children, unfortunately right now I need to focus, or Christine needs to focus on this particular task that needs to be done because it's a deadline. When you get older, you'll understand what deadlines are when you get into the working world.